Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
Kid Rock, a man who writes songs that you definitely should not look up, like his tune in Osmosis Jones, shoots and misses a majority of his shots at Bud Light cans. MAGA, meanwhile.
Hell yeah, I love America, and I hate Bud Light because it's full of queers. Yeah! Freedom! That was all.
So what does that mean? What you just said?
What does freedom mean?
No, you said I hate Bud Light. Why do you hate Bud Light?
Well, because they cater all the wokeness and the not the un-American spirit.
What was un-American that they did?
Cannot think for themselves, as Jason Selvig and Davram Stiefler of The Good Liars find out on the road.
Are you a racist? Do you hate Mexicans? The media calls us racist for wanting to build Trump's wall. They censor us, but it doesn't change the truth.
J.D. Vance, a despicable idiot who is completely funded by PayPal's Peter Thiel, would get his behind handed to him as well.
Hey, J.D., I got your book.
Okay.
And I just had one question for you.
Can I finish my remarks first?
Yeah, I just want to know if I could get a refund. I didn't like the book very much.
All right.
$16.99.
You're going to go.
$21 in Canada. It just wasn't that good. I didn't find the main character wasn't very likable.
God decided she would be a girl.
You don't have to raise them as a girl. She's got a little baby doll right under her arm every second.
Yeah.
And when my boys always had guns in their hands. So we didn't, that's not something.
Hashtag me too.
And you wonder why they're terrible at comedy.
What are your thoughts on abortion?
On abortion? I'm pro-life, so.
Pro-life? And if there could be more gun control that could save children's lives, would you want to pass that gun control?
How would that save children's lives?
It's the mass shootings, guns. Guns is the leading cause of death for children in America.
Yeah. No, it's not.
You know, it is. It is.
No, it's not.
Guns is the leading cause of death for children in America.
Okay, but that's... Okay.
Donald Trump wants to blame me. You know, he also said that he also took Disney's side against us when we stood up for the kids. He also said Cuomo in New York did COVID better than we did, and he attacked me for being pro-life. Maybe that's a reason we should have a debate on your show, Laura. Stop being a keyboard warrior and let's step up and debate one-on-one. He's had a lot to say about me over the last year. Say it to my face. I'm game.
This goober, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, has gone after Disney time and time again, which led to this.
Disney was advertising gayness to our kids.
Sorry. Just clarify that if you don't mind.
Disney was going into the business of putting ideas in my grandkids' mind that I didn't want them putting in my grandkids' mind. And
did that actually happen?
We'd have to go get...
Did that actually happen?
I don't know. I'm just going on what I heard.
Your grandkids, did that actually happen where they had changed their views on things based on Disney?
No, I don't know.
So you don't have a problem with gay people at all as long as they are doing it in their privacy of their own home?
Friends, like everybody said, I got friends, but...
Do you consider yourself religious? Are you Christian?
Yeah, I'm...
What if they said that you shouldn't be practicing Christianity outside of your home?
I would fight that. Yeah.
Our culture has changed over the last 30 or 40 years, and there's been an attack on those things in particular. And I just think that kids are exposed to all kinds of horrible stuff nowadays too. I look back and I think about the horrible stuff that they hear when they listen to rap music, the video games that they watch from a really early age.
Of course, another pivot. Instead of talking about actual gun violence and measures to prevent it, rap music. More of MAGA follows their lead.
How come they never talk about people's behavior?
Right.
It's behavior that makes the gun go off, not the gun itself. The minorities and non-minorities, in this country at least, are not being educated properly. They're exposed to too many elements that my generation was not exposed to.
What kind of elements?
Rap music. The black guys I hung around with, black people I hung around with, it was rhythm and blues and jazz.
So the issue is rap music, not the 400 million guns.
No, you keep getting back to 400 million guns.
So there's so many guns.
Look at how many people have been run over by people with vehicles.
Way less than have been killed by guns.
I'm very pro-choice. I hate the concept of abortion. I hate it. I hate everything it stands for. I cringe when I listen to people debating the subject. But I just believe in choice.
But I'm pro-life. You're pro-life, but you do think that there should be exceptions for rape and incest.
Yes, and life, the health of the mother, the death.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form. We got it back to the states. We did the Roe v. Wade thing, which they've been trying to get it done for 50 years. I got it done.
Shocking. This is the guy they follow, a pathological liar who can't name a single Bible verse, though it is clear they do repeat his same BS.
Well, that's
4 weeks after they're born. You can kill them.
I'm sorry, I gotta take a moment here. You're saying that in California you can kill a newborn baby up to 4 weeks until after it's born?
Absolutely.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's not true.
That's the law in the last year or two.
That is not true. That's not true.
You need to go do your research.
That's 100% not true.
You need to do your
research. Where did you read that? Be honest.
National news media.
Post-birth abortion. Can you tell me where you read it?
It's been a while.
I've read it so many places I can't name them all, no.
It's hard to name them all right now.
Yeah, it is.
Have you heard people saying that Republicans are weird?
Yes. Weird? Oh, I don't know. Are we?
Are we?
I don't think we're weird.
No?
No, not at all. So, I don't think we're weird.
Solid. So explain this then.
But here are pictures from recent Trump events showing rally goers what appear to be cups that are supposed to be containing J.D. Vance's semen with Vance's face on the cups with the caption J.D. Vance full family kit. Now, now Emma has this theory that this is a rat F, but go through the different pictures because I keep thinking is it possible?
There's a substance in these ones. Go back. All of them have something in it. What do they have inside?
This feels like it's got to be like a Good Liars thing or something like that.
Totally.
But it's not. It's just MAGA being MAGA.
But have to get over it. We have to move forward.
It's just another day in America.
What was going through your mind? And when you were finally got the message that it was all clear and you walked out, what did you see?
I saw a deceased body on the floor, but it was covered up. And I saw a female with a shot wound to her leg. And it was just really traumatic experience.
I told her to just run in the classroom and hide in the corner, just be quiet and just do whatever they tell her to do. And at that time, I heard 5 gunshots and then the phone went dead. So I didn't know if she was hurt and she was calling 911. So I was very scared.
It's unfathomable no matter how many times we've seen this.
I mean, as you woke up this morning, what were you thinking about the state of how we live now? What reality is actually like for kids like you?
I just feel like you're basically never safe anywhere. And no matter how you can no matter if there's cops in the school, there's still no safety at all.
This is the lifelong trauma, pain, and helplessness our nation's children and neighbors have to suffer just so gun manufacturers can continue to rake in profits, funnel money to gun advocacy groups like the NRA, bribe politicians to do their bidding, and send politicians to perpetuate the endless cycle of violence so they can keep their jobs and continue building their fortune.
Now I'm doing a gun giveaway of my own, but for Americans only. I want you to win this .50 caliber rifle that Democrats will ban if they keep the House next year.
Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene aired this campaign ad in the lead up to the 2022 midterm elections while taking a dig at our military's withdrawal from Afghanistan. And also appeared in this ad for her congressional race back in the day, campaigning on the promise to end gun control, open borders, the Green New Deal, and of course, the ultimate boogeyman of socialism, showing how fundamentally unserious Republicans like Greene are. We barely have any real gun control mechanisms in our country. We have no open borders. We're falling dangerously behind on Green New Deal policy proposals, and it's not even worth addressing the socialism point. But this is who the Republican Party has chosen to cozy up to and promote at the national level, which brings us to this other clown.
Hey, Mike Collins here, your pro-Trump America First trucker, running for Congress here in Georgia 10. Well, I understand Joe Biden was in town yesterday to talk about our elections. It seems that he and Kamala Harris called anyone who disagreed with the federal hijacking of this election a racist.
Enter Rep. Mike Collins, who just so happens to represent the same congressional district that Appalachian High School is located in and is a certified MAGA nutcase.
Donald Trump won this state, period. Number 2, get rid of those voting machines. Go back to paper ballots once and for all. Number 3, get rid of those ridiculous drop boxes across this state that the Democrats use to stuff the ballots and steal our election. You see, Georgians are sick and tired of weak-kneed, spineless politicians who won't fight for Trump, get to the bottom of 2020, and fix our elections. Well, if they won't do it, Mike Collins will. Send me to Washington. I'll fix this election. I'll get to the bottom of 2020, and I will fight for Trump's America First agenda. And I will fight for Trump's America First agenda.
What's even worse is that it's not just the election-denying MAGA cult members that are leading the charge and are major players in the fight against comprehensive gun control laws. Take Georgia Governor and Trump rival Brian Kemp, for example, who put out this ad pointing a shotgun at a guy who wants to ask one of his daughters on a date. And like clockwork, the crocodile tears and thoughts and prayers tweets came flowing from Governor Kemp. Representative Mike Collins, who also offered nothing substantive to the victims and all those traumatized by the shooting, opting to tote the law enforcement response to the shooting. And Greene, as expected, offered more hollow words that served no other purpose than moral grandstanding and masking the truth about how the policies she supports increase the likelihood of these tragedies happening again.
Research. Georgia doesn't have background checks. It doesn't have purchase permit laws. Teachers are allowed to carry guns in K through 12. We don't know if that was the situation here. They do not have red flag laws. It does not ban, Georgia, high-capacity weapons. It doesn't require any secured gun storage. So a parent could have a gun sitting around that's not against the law. A child could take it. A teenager in this case, maybe, if that's what this turns out to be. They allow open carry. There's no requirement for a concealed carry permit. They don't have any ghost gun regulations. They allow assault weapons. They allow people with assault or violent misdemeanor convictions to carry. It does require a license to have or carry guns, long guns, other weapons. And again, as we said, gun owners have to be at least 21, but there's nothing that doesn't allow a parent, a friend, to gift someone young a gun.
It can't get much more simple than this, but Republicans like Kemp, seen here signing a bill that permits citizens to carry a concealed firearm without A concealed license will have you believe that it's all about individual responsibility, or God being taken out of public life, or mental health, or any other factor that distracts the public from the real root of the gun violence epidemic, the pursuit of profit at the expense of human life, which in turn translates to political power.
Thank you.
Is there any more your office can do to prevent shootings like this?
Well, look, we've done a tremendous amount on school safety, but today is not the day for politics or policy. Today is the day for an investigation to mourn these precious Georgians that we have lost, to thank the first responders that went, into the line of fire, the school staff, superintendent, the principal, and others that are just trying to hold this community together. That's what we need to be focused on right now. We also had a tragic loss of a firefighter in Greene County earlier today before this event happened, with an explosion that killed the life of a first responder that, again, was running in to danger when many people were trying to run out. And that's what the focus needs to be on tonight. I would ask everybody to continue to keep this community, these victims, and these educators and these men and women in law enforcement in your thoughts and prayers.
The time for policy has always been right now, and should have been decades ago, or after any of the other 400 school shootings, just since the Columbine shooting alone.
Ultimately, we all agree that nobody wants to see these school shootings continue. Nobody wants to see gun violence continue. And I think it's time that our leaders have a real conversation about what can we agree on moving forward, so that these stories, these school shootings, can be left in our history books and not in our headlines. I would encourage the voters of Georgia, I would encourage young people across this country and people of all ages to make sure that we aren't just sending our thoughts and prayers, but remembering that, it's about action. We need to do more to address this issue and come together as Americans to address this and acknowledge the fact that we're always going to have disagreements. Why don't we come together and focus on what we can agree on and move forward on that? Because none of us want to see this violence continue.
May the victims that we know of as of this taping rest in peace, and we hope their families' losses are not in vain, like far too many victims have before them.
And you're seeing unprecedented unity here for President Trump.
Indeed. Yeah.
I think that's what's important.
The irony of Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz saying this is moments prior at the RNC.
Speaking. What night are you speaking? Are you speaking tonight? Or one person? No. Hey, you're not. If you took that stage, you would get booed off of it. You would get booed off the stage.
This is what he did to former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy. Great unity indeed.
They openly campaigned for racial reparations and bigoted policies that target white people. Let's not prove our valor by enduring pain. I'd like to start dishing it out. Less fortitude, more attitude.
Funny enough, Gaetz thinks he's making a solid point here.
Reparations are the act of making amends to someone or a group of people who have been wronged. Germany paid billions of dollars in reparations to Holocaust victims or their families, and to Israel after the Nazi atrocities of World War II. And in 1988, the U.S. paid more than 80,000 Japanese Americans who were held in internment camps during World War II. They each got $20,000. But African Americans have never gotten reparations for their 246 years of slavery.
To be against reparations is unjust. It is not only needed, but should be demanded.
We, of course, want to take time to mourn the loss of innocent life, but we should not wait in acting to prevent these frequent aggressive acts from happening in the future. Democrats want to blame guns, of course, but we know it's not that simple.
Actually, it kind of is that simple if we look at the data.
The FBI tracks mass shootings where 4 or more people are killed. Looking back over time, you can see that the number of these events and the fatalities have risen dramatically. But one undeniable fact is that there are more civilian-owned guns per person here in the U.S. than anywhere else in the world. In fact, when you break down the number of firearms in the U.S., it comes down to more than 1 gun per person. And that number is also climbing. There was a ban on assault rifles in 1994, but it was dropped 10 years later when a Republican-led Congress failed to renew it. In the years since, assault rifles like the AR-15 have been used in some of the country's deadliest mass shootings.
But Gaetz, a well-off congressman who alleges he takes no corporate money, yet has been compensated well, has taken donations from the likes of the NRA and many more.
Good people have a right to exist in the country without wondering if some crazy leftist or mentally ill individual lurking around the corner is about to post up and kill you.
An interesting take here, Mr. Gaetz.
This weekend's mass murder in Texas, the deadliest shooting of the year, eclipsing the ongoing mourning for what was the deadliest shooting of the year when a suspect, citing racist replacement theory, killed 10 in a Buffalo supermarket.
Racist replacement theory is the neo-schmozzy great replacement theory, practically a staple in Republican dialogue and circles these days. But let's not beat around the bush. The evidence does not point to leftists. The numbers lay bare at the reality. Right-wing extremists committed every ideological-driven mass killing identified in the United States in the year 2022, with an unusually high proportion perpetrated by white supremacists, wrote Axios. Another talking point by Gaetz and the like is mental illness via American Progress. Despite many conservative politicians and the NRA's frequent invocation of mental illness, little evidence exists to suggest that mental illness is to blame for U.S. mass shootings. They'd go on to write, fact, while every country is home to people living with mental illness, the United States is the only country in the world that experiences mass shootings daily. An estimated 1 in 5 Americans live with a diagnosed mental illness. While other countries have similar levels of mental illness, none have the levels of mass shootings that the United States does. Moreover, countries with strong gun oversight experience significantly less gun violence.
Critical race theory is an explicitly racist ideology, and critical race theory is everywhere.
Obviously, none of this is true, but Republicans ran on it over and over again to then potentially open up the voter base to white people are under attack, which potentially, in a conservative politician's eyes, gets them down the pipeline to spout great replacement theory and then vote for them.
It's inconceivable that a white teacher would be teaching white children that they are evil because they're white. But that's what people think. Even though it's blatantly false. Critical race theory is an intellectual sort of field that emerged in the late 1970s and early 1980s among legal scholars and lawyers who were recognizing that racial disparity was persisting despite the public pronouncements that all these laws on the books were race neutral. And so these scholars recognized that something was wrong here and that they had to take a new critical approach to examining the law, to examining policies, to examining structures which they recognized were the source of these continuing disparities and not what's wrong with people.
Here's another boogeyman to the right who lays out what exactly CRT is, Ibram X. Kendi.
Like, why is it that the women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions? Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb. These people are odious on the inside and out. They're like 5'2", 350 pounds, and they're like, give me my abortions or I'll get up and march and protest. And I'm thinking, march? You look like you got ankles weaker than the legal reasoning behind Roe versus Wade. A few of them need to get up and march. They need to get up and march for like an hour a day, swing those arms, get the blood pumping, maybe mix in a salad.
This is an insane thing to say from a lawmaker, showing so much about not only his character, but what conservative voters really want.
This morning, Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz is under investigation. The House Ethics Committee revealing that it is continuing to probe Gaetz over explosive allegations, including that he engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, accepted improper gifts, and that he sought to obstruct government investigations of his conduct.
Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.